Please accept
Ah!
my
Yay, I did it. God, I'm looking for accept. There was no success, except there was nothing. I'm pushing all buttons everywhere. My phone is all messed up. Oh my God.
I told you that you could do it, and here we are.
Here we are. It only took me embarrassing myself.
Stop it.
Okay. This is the best I can do.
Dear friend, I miss you. How are you?
I know it. We're all dressed up and we've got no place to go.
Literally nowhere to go.
We were supposed to be, weren't we going to do like a pirate ship and go out in the middle of the ocean and do that? Or we were going to go to the place where I played with the giraffes last year, Busch Gardens. We were going to do that too.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, so we were going to go. I was telling people yesterday, Sarah Kustok was kind enough to come on the show. And she asked what was our next adventure going to be. And I said we were going to dress in safari suits and go pet giraffes. And now that's not happening.
Yep. No, not this year. It's not happening. Poor little giraffes. I know that they were all waiting for us to come in the safari suits. Giraffes, by the way, are the greatest animals except for German Shepherds in the entire world. They are so great.
You mentioned
they come right over to you. They come right over to my shepherd. One of them's here. The other one's sleeping in the other room. They're here. They're not. They're surprised. They're wondering what I'm doing home.
But they're probably happy to see you.
Yeah, they're very happy to see me, and I'm very happy to see them because you're not alone if you've got German Shepherds in the house.
Now, are you feeling okay? You good?
I'm feeling okay. I would have felt a lot better had every time I not turn on the television, they keep reminding me that I'm elderly. Because anybody over 60, is elderly. And so evidently I can't go out. I'm a germaphobe anyway, as you know. So this house is the most sanitized place. I wear gloves to go get my mail, and then I spray them and leave them in the garage. If this virus gets me, he's really going to have to try.
No, I have no doubt that this virus is not going to get you. And I would
love elderly.
Not elderly.
Television says I'm elderly.
But you conduct yourself like a 30-year-old.
Well, not the 30-year-olds that are down on Clearwater Beach, that's for sure.
No, they're jerks. And they are actually going to close the beach down here, but they're not doing it till Monday. So I don't know what that's about. It's ridiculous. People, once and for all, stay inside if you could. If you have to go outside, make sure that you respect the social distancing and do all that jazz. Now, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could be quarantined with one person, who would you choose?
Oh boy. Do they have to be alive?
No. But you mean like you'd want to bring them back from the dead, or you want to be quarantined?
No, bring them. All right, let's go with people that are alive. Let's see. Oh gosh, there are so many choices. So many choices. Okay, how about the cast of Law and Order SVU? Can I be quarantined with them?
Oh yeah, because they know how to handle everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or Governor Cuomo, because he knows how to handle everything, evidently also.
Well, yeah, you're in New York. How's New York State right now? I know they have a ton of cases.
They do, but so many of them are from right up here. That's why I'm not going out of the house. And there was you know what? And I listen all the time, and then I have to turn it off because you can make yourself crazy. I think you're not going to know for a couple of weeks. The thing here is that there aren't enough tests, and the governor's moving people in and out and all kinds of things, and it's very scary. It really is scary because it's, as everybody says, nobody has seen anything like this ever before, and when people are alone. And I'm up here in the woods. Yesterday I had a lovely chat with the FedEx man, and so I said, just put the package down, and I came out with spray and I sprayed it, and then talked to him, and he was telling me about women beating each other up in Target over Charmin and Bounty paper towels. Yeah, it's good, but it's fine up on Waldman's Mountain.
Do you have enough food? Do you have enough toilet paper?
Yes. Well, there's only me, Meredith. I could not go through the toilet paper that I have. See, I did this early when I heard this was coming. I didn't wait. I had stuff I got dog food and toilet paper. That's what I had sent from Florida weeks ago, thinking that maybe this was going to happen. So now, my dogs are set.
I saw you on Instagram yesterday. You were making dog treats for
I did. I did because I did. It's the first day I got home, I made homemade chicken soup in my crock pot, and I put. They were all out of whole chickens at the market, so I got. What do you call them? Legs and thighs, and you put them in, and carrots and an onion and mushrooms, 2 different kinds of mushrooms. You can't just have one. Celery, onion, and you put it in the crock pot, cover it up with water and a little bit of chicken stock, and you leave it for 8 hours, and then it's just gorgeous. So yesterday, what am I going to do? Well, I make organic treats for the dogs. Peanut butter, pumpkin puree, 2 eggs, and whole wheat organic flour, and I make them in the shape of bones because I'm nuts. And I've got little cutters that have pictures of, little German Shepherd face or little bones. And and that's what I did yesterday. Today I washed my floors.
Today I went outside for the first time in about a week. How about that?
That's good. I saw what you did. They were all very thankful. Meredith, in case you didn't see, took coffee and whatever else treats down to the writers who are still out there distancing themselves. I saw that picture too. A few in the middle bringing the coffee.
I wasn't close to anybody. I wasn't getting close to anybody.
So did you put it down and they came one at a time and got it?
No, I put it in a bag and I walked it over and I set it on the sidewalk and said, "Have fun, guys. Is everybody feeling okay? Everybody good?" And I chatted for a little bit. Then I got back in my truck and went back home to my condo, and here we are. This is it. And I hope you don't mind. We talked about we had to dress up because we haven't been anywhere in so long.
I know.
But I also had a prior engagement today, a 6-year-old's birthday party. So I had a little bit of a dance party. So I thought I'd wear a party dress for that too.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which is a good time.
Now I'm not going anywhere, but I do have sparkles on, and my navy blue sparkles, because I have to get, I can't just stay in my pajamas for 3 weeks, right? So I've got the jewelry, got the makeup.
We tried. We gave it a college try today. Somebody here asked, have you talked to John? Is he okay?
I talk to John probably twice a day, and yes, he's okay. John is living his life, and he's fine. He's absolutely fine. He does go out. He absolutely, he doesn't cook or anything, so he does go out, but he says he's fine. I got him hand sanitizer. He didn't have any. Now his son's brought him over hand sanitizer, so he's fine. He's fine. He misses baseball and he misses everybody, but he's good. He's good. If I'm elderly, then he must be up there too, right? I'm not the only one in this place that's elderly.
You're not elderly. I'm not going to refer to you as elderly. I won't.
Okay.
Not on my lawn.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Yeah.
Okay, we have some other questions from people that earlier on Instagram, when I said you were coming on at 3:30, wanted to know, do you think there'll eventually be baseball this year? And if there is baseball, do you think fans will be allowed in the stadiums?
Yes, I do think there'll be baseball, and I would imagine that they won't start until they can let fans in. I think the last I heard, it keeps changing every day, but didn't we hear there was they wanted an 8-week moratorium on large crowds? I don't know how you play a baseball season without fans. I would think we'll have a baseball season. If it starts June 1st, they'll just have to do it. They'll figure out a way. I don't know whether you start the season there or you do a whole new schedule, which would be impossible. Maybe you just start, I don't know, May 31st, June 1st, pick up the schedule there. Do double headers when you can, because a lot of our games were Baltimore and Tampa and people like that. But I think there'll be baseball. And by the way, Meredith, if there isn't any baseball, we're all in a lot of trouble, because that'll mean that something terrible has happened. And I'm not up for that.
No, I'm not down for that either. Kelly Hill, our friend Kelly Hill,
yes,
joined. She says hello. Also, Tina
Hi, Kelly.
Gervasio says hello. I talked to her earlier. She's going to start doing her sportscast from home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pretty cool.
That's a good idea.
Let's see. Laura Sells wants to know, what has been your favorite moment working in sports?
Oh, boy. Couple of things, and it's not what anybody thinks. I don't know, favorite. The earthquake in San Francisco in 1989, and people forget about that, and some of you weren't even born. That was amazing, because you don't know how you're going to react in any kind of situation. And for those of you who don't know, I was in the upper deck at Candlestick Park when that happened. For some reason, my phone line did not go out. I was on live back to WFAN all night and got back to the city, was saved by Henry Hecht of Newsday, who found me wandering around, not knowing anybody and figuring out how am I going to get back to the city. I did city-side stuff. I hitchhiked out to the Nimitz Highway where the highway collapsed. That's where I met Dave Stewart. That whole thing is probably the most worthwhile thing I've ever done in sports. That really was something, because you don't know. You want to think that you'll react well when there's some kind of thing, but you don't know. And it was, I won't say it was terrific time, but it really was the most worthwhile thing I've ever done. Let me just hang up this phone.
Yeah, or see who it is. Maybe it's John. We can get him on too.
It is. It absolutely is John.
John. Oh no, you froze.
This is.
Hi, John.
Hysterical. She says hi. Anyway, so do you have any questions for John? Meredith?
Let's see. Anybody have any questions for John? Yeah. What's he been watching in his spare time now?
Okay, fans, John, want to know what you have been watching in your spare time. The Tom Brady thing? All right, he's on a DV. He has 50 movies on his DVR, and he's watching that. He also was watching the NFL Network because there's so much going on. He switches back to, I guess, the different sports channels. I guess just in case there's baseball and we didn't know. But he keeps busy. Also, he didn't mention his murders. He likes Murder, She Wrote. He likes things like Mannix, Turner Classics. I'm sure you're doing that, right? Oh, somebody wants to know, are you watching any old Yankee classics?
Has he ever watched his own Yankeeography?
Meredith wants to know, have you ever watched your own Yankeeographies?
This was not planned, people, by the way. Sterling just called.
Okay, he doesn't like to watch himself because he always thinks he could do it better, like most of us. Somebody wants to know, what are you reading now? Okay, she's reading a book. He's reading a book on Carrie Fisher, the late Carrie Fisher, and I know that because he calls me every 20 minutes to tell me a great story that is in the book. And she was I didn't know this, John. She was a great Turner Classic fan, so he loves her because he loves Turner Classics. And all right, I'm going to say goodbye. What?
Speakerphone? Is that a speakerphone? Can you
it is a speakerphone. Wait a minute, we're going to get you in here. Wait a minute. All right, John, can you hear?
Hi, John.
Yeah, vaguely, yes. Hi.
We miss you, John. I hope you're well.
Yeah. Well, how could I not be well? There's no one else in my apartment. The coronavirus. So, I just went to the bank, for example. But I'm being very safe. So is Suzyn. I want you to be safe too. So we're all clean when this thing resumes in June.
Hey, John, there are a bunch of Yankees fans listening. Do you have one home run call in you right now to give them a little taste of baseball? Anybody, your favorite one, anyone?
Okay. Yeah, the pitch is cut on and hit in the air to deep left field. It is high. It is far. It is gone. An A-bomb from A-Rod.
I love it.
We all love that. John, I will call you later, okay?
Yeah, I have something good to tell you that I forgot to tell you, and I'll tease it by saying it has to do with women in very high places, and I've really been absolutely snowed by them and watching, primary coverage and all. So call me up and I'll let you know who the people are.
Okay. Thank you, John. Bye-bye.
Bye, John. Oh my God, that was amazing. That was so good.
So to the person that says, have you talked to John? Evidently, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, she does talk to John, obviously. I can't wait to hear the end of that story.
Oh,
And
God.
I was nervously waiting what he was going to say after.
Yeah. Well, it's a tease. He'll tell me, and then I'll text you and tell you.
Okay, so I put together some fun questions.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to call it the Meredith Minute, but I think it's going to go longer than a minute.
Okay.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
I don't do crazy things.
No, never. All right. If you could kill off one character from a current TV show, who would it be?
Oh, it would be that Amanda Rollins on SVU.
Okay. Favorite actor or actress of all time, and why?
Betty Davis of all time. She starred in my favorite movie of all time, All About Eve. And Meredith, if you don't know who that is, just go look her up. Look her up.
I have heard of her.
Yeah. Betty Davis is my favorite actress of all time.
If you could make one rule and everybody had to follow it, what would it be?
Be nicer to each other.
I like that. And people maybe could take that under advisement now, thinking about other people trying to social distance and stay inside.
Right. And to those women fighting over toilet paper and Target, chill. You couldn't possibly go that much. Impossible.
If you could stockpile one thing, what would it be?
Of anything?
Anything.
Dogs. I would go to a German Shepherd rescue, and I would bring every shepherd that doesn't have a home into my house. That's what I would stockpile.
How many shepherds have you had over the years?
7.
Wow, that's a lot. What? I have a plant that I've been able to keep alive since January. How about that?
Oh, you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I sent away for a starter kit and cucumber seeds, and I'm going to start planting my cucumbers.
Nice.
Yep.
You know, you can get a thing called, well, you have a yard outside. Like, I don't have a yard, but you can get a tower garden, and you can grow your own vegetables on the balcony. So maybe
I've done that on my deck. I've done that thing. But this, by the way, the one good thing is that I am never here in my property when the daffodils and crocuses and everything comes up. And this is the first time in years that I've been here, and I've got daffodils all over my house and forsythias, and I never get to see that. So it's a positive, one positive.
I'm trying to see what's going on here. Do you have a favorite piece of sports memorabilia?
Yes.
What's that?
I have. It's right over on that wall over there, and it is a signed picture of Ted Williams, whom I've known since I was a little girl, and Carl Yastrzemski. And Ted Williams wrote on it, to Suzyn, beautiful and talented, love from Ted.
Oh my gosh, that is impressive. And I'm telling you, because you actually used to go and sit right next to the dugout, right?
Right.
All these guys.
When I was a little girl, when I was a very little girl. And you have to remember that back then, Fenway Park was very, very different, and nobody went. And I was a little cutie. So 3 or 4 years old, you could just walk right down, and you could look in and wave, and they would talk to you because there was nobody there. I mean, you knew everybody in the place, and it was very, very different. And that's how I met Ted Williams and Johnny Pesky, who retired. I was about 6 or 7 when he retired, but stayed a coach, and I called him Uncle Johnny till the day he died. It's amazing to know people when you're a child and just a fan, and then grow up and go through a couple of careers, and then there they are as you're a grown up, and it's a fascinating thing. That was a terrific time in my life.
Do you remember your first baseball game?
I do indeed. It was the Red Sox and the Washington Senators.
As far as baseball moments are concerned in your broadcasting career, what's the most memorable?
That whole 2009 World Series, mainly because I was the first woman ever to do a World Series, so obviously that. But things that I actually broadcast or that I was there for, things that I broadcast, that, and Jeter's 3,000th hit. That whole day was just an extraordinary day. There are lots of moments. I think one of the greatest things I ever saw was when Jim Abbott threw his no-hitter. Jim Abbott without a hand.
Yeah.
He threw, and it was everyone was crying, and it was an amazing feat. And he's as nice a human being as you could ever want to know in your whole life. And that was pretty special. There were a lot of things. 96, I was actually standing next to George when the final out, and because he wouldn't let me sit down. I had gone to the back of the press box in the 7th inning just to say hello, because I saw him walk through, and I said, "All right, I got to go." And he said, "Where are you going, Waldman? Stand here." So he didn't let anybody move. We stood there in the back of the old press box for those 2 innings. That was to see the look on his face, and that was a very special year. 96 was an incredible year for a lot of reasons. So, but that was cool too.
Now, you were close with George. You actually brought George and Yogi back together. When you hear the name George Steinbrenner, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And is there one George story that you haven't told yet that you can fill in on?
I don't know what I haven't. I probably, if I haven't told it by now, I'm not going to. But I will tell you that he was a formidable man, and we'll never see his like again. And I miss him every day. I really do. And except for my mother and my grandfather, there is not another person on this earth who is more important to me in my life and in certain things than George Steinbrenner. And he was an incredible man. And by the way, I was on the other end of those awful phone calls too. So that was part of it. But, he was very mercurial, and you would never know what was going to set him off. And there are sometimes I'd go on the air and I say, "Oh my God, I'm done. I am going to be done. I said something awful," and he'd never call. And then I'd say something about the bus was late in Seattle. He called and reamed me out. "How dare you say anything about what we're doing, that the bus was late," and slammed the phone down. That's those days you slammed the phone down. And those kinds of things. You never knew what was going to set him off. And he was spectacular. He wanted to win. He tried his hardest. Everything he did was for that team. Do you know that he never took any money out of the team? Put it all back. Every penny went back into scouts and the Dominican place down there, and the facilities, and he wanted the best of everything for that. And he figured he'd get his money out when they finally won and all that. He did it the right way, and we won't see his like again. I really don't think so.
The first time he slammed down the phone, what were you thinking? Were you like, "Oh my gosh, this is real. This is really happening"?
No, I picked up the phone and I called him back and I said, "Don't you ever hang up on me." And I slammed the phone down. And this is what we did. And he'd call back and yell at me, and then I'd call back and yell at him, and then he'd start, and then he wouldn't call. And I'd leave it for a day or two, and then I'd call back, and I'd call his secretary, Joanne, and I'd say, "Joanne, it's Suzyn, is he there?" And he'd say, "All right, Waldman, what do you want?" And I'd say, "Oh, George, I accept your apology. You didn't have to send me candy." I mean, he never did. But over the years, he sent me candy, roses. Once he got me a Bentley, diamonds.
Bentley?
No, he didn't. But I would call. I mean, we'd have these fights, and I'd say, "Oh, thank you. You didn't have to do that." And he'd start to laugh, because once George laughed, you're going to be okay.
You were fine. We'll get back to baseball in just a second, but Kelly Hill wanted to know who you wanted to be quarantined with. You said the cast of SVU. So who would you absolutely not want to be quarantined with? Like, is there one?
Oh God, the list is too long, and I can't. Yeah, you don't know. I'd get in a lot of trouble. No. I'll call her up later and tell her. Yeah, no.
Favorite Yankee of all time?
Don Mattingly.
Great dude. Just a great, nice
dude. And was great at a time when, trust me, I needed it. And it wasn't anything conscious. All of a sudden, when things were awful, he was there. I think he's as kind a man as I just adore him. He is everything that, excuse me, I'm falling off my chair. He is everything that, somebody that You'd want him as your brother. You'd want him if your kid is your father. You'd want him as, anything that a guy could be. I thought he was as real a human being, and still is, as anybody. And Johnny, I learned, and a lot of the players can take this from him. Johnny didn't, we'd get, how we get into places at 4 a.m, 3 a.m, and there's always people there. And Johnny didn't sign, but if he saw a little kid, he would tussle his hair. And if it's a real fan, that's all the kid would need. With that, if it's somebody that they put a shirt on and said, "Get this," then the kid wouldn't care. But if it was a real, he knew how to treat people. He just really knew how to treat people. He was, to me, he was the perfect Yankee.
Somebody just said Babe Ruth or Derek Jeter. How do you choose?
As what? As what?
I don't know.
As what? Well, but you can't, because Babe Ruth was the greatest player of all time. So if you're looking at that, I mean, he would have been in the Hall of Fame as a pitcher if he didn't get in as Babe Ruth. He changed the game. When you look at people that have an impact, nobody has ever impacted the game more than Babe Ruth. So how do you choose? I knew Derek Jeter since he was 18 years old. How do you say I did? Trust me, a lot of people think I did. I never saw Babe Ruth. I never saw him play.
I don't think anybody thought that. What are these here? Love Jeter, but okay. We'll get back to these questions. Oh, this is a good one. What would your walk-up song be?
Oh boy, something not "I Will Survive," but something like that. Not that song, not Glory Gaynor. There's a couple more that I can't think, but it would be that. It would be that kind of thing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how disappointed are you right now not getting to see the 2020 Yankees yet? Oh,
gosh. I mean, we live for this. I mean, obviously 10, but I'll say 9 because I know we will see them. This is going to be a really good year. I mean, this is going to be a really nice year, and I don't think anybody is thinking about that right now. They're too busy trying to stay healthy. But if you want to look at good things, I mean, Judge and Stanton should be all healed by the time we get back. But I think it's disappointing because I love the soap opera aspect of baseball, the everyday, the slowness of it, the building and building and building. And I always call September and October sweep week, like they have on the soaps. It builds to that, and then it's a crescendo. And well, I'll tell you what else it'll do. It'll stop this Astros talk, so we can move on from their hideousness. But that is. I think there's other things that are more important right now, and maybe because I couldn't go through a whole year of just talking about that.
Brutal. And wouldn't it be nice if they donated the shares that they got for the World Series that people think might have been?
Well, you know what? That's a wonderful idea, but I know Alex Bregman has already done something like $100,000. I know George Springer has done things already, and Springer. I know that when the floods came in Houston, he's from Connecticut, and I know his family and everything. They had truckloads of supplies that went from Connecticut down to Houston. So I know what they did is awful, but you can help yourself a little bit by doing something that's very real.
Yes, and Bregman has done things over the years, a lot of outreach in the community stuff, as have a lot of people around Major League Baseball. No, guys, this is not a White Claw. This is a Pellegrino. I'm not drinking.
Oh, it's a Pellegrino. I thought you were drinking. I've got my Christmas mugs with my dogs on Yankee Stadium one.
I love what's in it.
Yeah, well, coffee. Oh. It really is coffee. I was looking for my, I have a wine glass somewhere that I can't find. My nephew suggested that I bring it because it says on it, it's not drinking alone if the dog is home. So I was going to have that and put the wine in that, but it's too early for wine, even for us.
Well, I was going to say, you don't want to drink alone, but I'm kind of, our buddy Alex says he's drinking. Oh boy.
Oh boy, Alex, this is too early for you, Alex.
Way too early. But I was like, we're not really alone now because we're talking. So it's kind of like the same place.
It is. It's sort of like a party.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with this time now that you don't have to report to the ballpark?
Well, I'm going to start. I know I'm going to start doing some. I think I'm going to start doing some shows from home on WFAN. I don't know when or what, but they've. I've got this paper right here on how to download this thing to my computer so I can actually talk to the station like I'm on the air. If I can figure out how to do it, then that will be fun, and maybe we'll do some shows. But other than that, I'm reading. I'm watching Law and Order SVU and Law and Order I watched This Is Us again because I watched that at least twice after it's on. Tonight is A Million Little Things. And you know what I got? I got one of those language things, and I'm going to start learning how to speak Spanish.
Oh, that's a good idea. I should do that too, because every off season I say I'm going to learn, and I am not much further along than I was back when I was in high school.
Right.
All right. Couple more fun questions.
Okay.
I mean, I guess they're fun. I don't know. If you had a pet parrot, what would you teach it to say?
Well, it would be, it's two words. The first begins with an F and the second begins with an O. It's not nice. Got it? Helen Mirren, you know Helen Mirren, the actress, she said that now she's at the age that she's glad, sis, because now she wishes that she could go back and say that phrase to people when she was younger. Now she just says F off, and that's the end of it. And that's what I would teach my parrot.
Do you have any advice for women in sports?
Well, the only advice that I've ever given to people is that if you're a female in sports, now it's different for like your age and the women that are younger than you that are coming up. There's a support system now because there's other women, which I never had. So you guys have each other. So if you're coming up now, find the other women that are around and lean on them, because I never had that. When I started, if another woman walked in the office or walked in the station, one of you wasn't going to be there. And you can ask the older people who are in and out of television for all that. The other thing is, if you've got something to contribute, don't let people tell you you don't. You know more than anybody whether you do. So look in the mirror, ask yourself, do I have something to give to this industry? If the answer is yes, then just keep going. And if somebody says no, they say no to guys too, you know. I mean, this is a very hard business. This is now the movie star business of this world is sports broadcasting. And there are very few jobs. Getting the door, do something. You know, work in the PR department, do something so you're near it and just keep going. Because eventually, if you keep there, someone's going to get tired of saying no to you, and they'll say, okay, well, somebody couldn't come in today. Why don't you do that? And be ready. Just be ready, because you'll always get your chance. There was an actress long gone. You might know her from the movie Harold and Maude, but before she was an old lady, Ruth Gordon was a really fine actress. And she has always said, there are no failures in theater or any place else. There are only people that give up too soon.
I feel like this very much is only the strong survive, and it takes a lot of no's before you finally hear that one yes. But like you said, it only takes one person to say yes.
It takes one. You know, when I was doing back in the 70s, when I was doing theater and commercials, they figured out for every commercial you get, you will have been refused 200 times. But you get one commercial, boy, and that can buy you a lot of toilet paper for a long time.
Could make you, yeah, for sure. Somebody just asked, any chance you could get John on social media?
No, he doesn't have a computer. He has a flip phone. I mean, no. You know, he keeps saying, he's so funny because he'll say on the air, you know, well, tomorrow we'll have to look and find out the attendance in Tampa Bay. And I said, all right, I could do it now and tell you in 30 seconds. I mean, he doesn't get it. And he says, it's fine. It's fine. You can't get him on social media because he doesn't have a computer. He doesn't, we bought him an iPad. His family, his kids bought him an iPad. They set it up. We brought it to the booth. You know where the iPad is? It's in the booth, locked up in the drawers. He never used it because he did it because his kids, I keep telling him, you'll love it. You can read books on there and you don't have to. He's upset because there's no newspapers anymore. If he's on I'm trying. The other thing is they set it up and they put a password in there, and he didn't write it down, so he has no idea what the password for the iPad is. So we can't get in anyway. But we try. We're going to try.
My favorite is when you text him, because it's a flip phone and he doesn't store hardly any numbers. He just memorizes some and he has a few. You have to put your name or else he has no idea who it is, and he'll call you back and he'll say, hello, did you text my phone? And I'm like, yeah, it's Meredith.
He doesn't collect numbers because he can't do that. He also says he can't type. So he doesn't, and the flip phone, if you remember, like A, B, and C is on the same thing, so you have to keep pushing and pushing. So he can't do that. If you text him, he won't answer, but he will have gotten it.
Right. And he usually calls you. A lot of times
he usually calls you.
Then.
Yes, yes.
Will you ever sing the national anthem again at a stadium?
Yes.
When?
It'll this year, because years ago I promised Gerrit Cole that if he were...
That's right. I forgot about this. Wow. This is cool.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
Yeah. Years ago, when Gerrit Cole was first drafted, I was in the office when they had the conference call, and I'm standing next to Damon Oppenheimer and Brian Cashman's in there, and I'm listening to this 17-year-old just talk around it, and just was so delightful and so wonderful. And I turned to Damon Oppenheimer and I said, he's not coming here. And he said, yeah, he is. We're going to give him a lot of money. He's going to come here. I said, he's not coming here. I can tell his dad wants him to go to school. And he did. And when I met him later, when he finally did, I guess it was in Bradenton, or maybe it was even when he went to Houston. And I said to him, I remember saying, boy, someday you're going to make a great Yankee. And Gerrit Cole is one of these guys that he knows who he's talking to. He knows everything about everybody that he might be in contact with in the media. And he said, you have to, if I come there, you have to sing the national anthem on opening day. And I said, well, I can't do it on opening day. They have West Point and, they do everything but sacrifice a body. I mean, they have everything there. So at some point, yes, the answer is yes, because I promised Gerrit Cole that I would sing the anthem.
That is awesome. And I can't even imagine what opening day is going to be like this year when we finally get there. It's just going to be even more special than normal because of everything that's gone on, obviously, with coronavirus. But to have sports back, I think will be therapeutic for a lot of people.
Do you know what I'm really looking forward to? The first time Gerrit Cole takes the mound as a Yankee. And in that stadium, I mean, he was getting, when he was doing bullpens in spring training in front of, they were giving him standing ovations, walking to after throwing a bullpen, people were clapping back there in the backfield and stuff, and they saw him out there. Gerrit Cole is I'm fascinated by all of this because he's the complete package. He's the real deal in every way. And I don't think there's been someone like that around in a long time, not since Jeter, who knows how to handle everything and wants it so badly, wants the notoriety and the pressure. And I'd asked him about when he had that bad game in spring training. I went in the next day and I was telling him a story about Roger Clemens, and he said, people sometimes don't understand. No one will ever put as much pressure on me as I put on myself. And I think that you and I both have that. I mean, people can rip me and rip you and rip John. Nobody puts as much pressure on me as I put on me to be as best I can. And Gerrit Cole has that. Not everybody does. Not everybody can handle that. And I think he is going to be top of the line here. I really do, in every way.
Looking forward to seeing it, and I get that sense too that he just wants that, and he's going to thrive in those situations. So that should be a fun one. Anything else you'd like to throw out there before we get going?
Well, I want to ask you, what are your plans for the rest of the day? You can't go to the beach.
No.
I mean, you can go to the beach, but you can't. What are you going to do?
I think I might sit on the balcony and just see what's going on out there for a little bit. I have a workout to do yet, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put on workout clothes and do an apartment workout. That's about it. Maybe I'll make dinner. I didn't eat yet today.
Oh, okay. I've done nothing but eat for the last week, so that's. That's tough. Being in, because you get nervous. Do you eat when you're nervous or when you're? I don't eat when I'm deprived. I eat when I'm nervous.
Nervous?
I just, yeah.
No.
These are nerve-wracking times.
Yeah, no, I feel like if I'm busy, I'll just forget. Look. But if I'm not busy, then I'm like grazing, you know. But
Yeah.
I've been pretty good so far. I'm like, either I'm gonna have the sickest body after this whole quarantine system, or it's gonna be like Corona. Like Corona's gonna be like the Corona 15. So I hope that's not.
Oh goodness.
No,
well,
I've been trying
right.
to stay busy. I've been trying to do some stuff. I have some space here, so that's been good. And I can get out and walk. It's nice here. I'm still in Florida, as you know, so I'm able to get out and walk. And there aren't many people around, so it's very easy to social distance here. So,
Are you going back tomorrow and bringing coffee and stuff to the writers?
no, I'm holed up for another probably week now. I hadn't gone out for about a week, and now I'll stay back in for a week. I probably should have got some more food, but meh, we'll make it work.
You'll make it work. There's always delivery. They come right. They can leave it downstairs.
Yeah,
You can come and get it.
could do that. I'm a little worried. I don't know if I have enough wine to last me a month, but we'll see. You know.
Well, there are online places you can have them delivered. Wine they'll deliver.
That's a good call. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe that'll be my first order of business after we get
Okay.
off.
All right.